Just today we ran to the grocery store, the sun was shining and it seemed like a good time to go out and get groceries. 35 minutes later we walked outside and it was a straight monsoon. I was like, whoa, where did that come from?
What's up guys, welcome to our channel. I'm Tony and this is my partner Jess, and we share information on living in Lower Alabama to help anyone who's looking to move down here. So lately we received a few comments saying how to avoid Gulf Shores because Florida has better and nicer beaches. They said the neighborhoods in Gulf Shores were no good, which is their opinion, so we decided to make a video and give you our honest opinion.
Yeah, Gulf Shores is amazing, but it's not for everyone, and every place has its downfalls. But to some, those negatives might actually be a good thing. Everyone has different opinions, so for this video, we're gonna strictly talk about 5 things to some that might totally suck when it comes to living in Gulf Shores, so let's get started.
Okay, the first thing and probably one of the biggest frustrations of living in our area is the weather. It can be extremely hot, even on a cool day during the summertime, which is anywhere from like May to October, depending on Mother Nature. It can be around 80 degrees, which is already too hot for some people. And when I say hot, I don't mean like Vegas or Phoenix hot. I mean deep, humid, muggy, like you just stepped into the rainforest hot and muggy. That's honestly why I like it. But not everyone can handle the heat and humidity like I can.
Honestly, for me, 80 is a treat during those summer months. We will steadily be 88 to 98 degrees for consecutive months, and it'll feel like 120 degrees. We have friends who only visit us in December because it's usually still in the 60s, and that's perfect weather to them. But they're coming from like the Midwest where it's 30 degrees for consecutive months.
And another thing about our summers is that we get a lot of storms, like big storms. It'll torrential downpour regularly, and sometimes it's out of nowhere. And know that even if the forecast doesn't show it, it can and will likely rain. So planning outdoor activities might be annoying for some people, but we just get used to it and kind of just roll with it. Living down here, you can't let a little rain ruin your day.
Just today we ran to the grocery store, the sun was shining and it seemed like a good time to go out and get groceries. 35 minutes later we walked outside and it was a straight monsoon. I was like, whoa, where did that come from? And how many times have we gone to Publix where the sky was like black and the thunder was so loud, and we walk out 20 minutes later and everything is soaking wet but the sun is out and the rain's already come and gone. The weather can turn that quick.
Yeah, so you can't always trust the weatherman down here. Lower Alabama sees more rain than any part of the country. Mobile averages over 60 inches per year. Everyone is always shocked when I say that because when you think about a rainy city, you automatically think Seattle, but now I'm telling you, it's Lower Alabama.
I like to say we have 2 seasons, the wet season being summer and the dry season being winter. And with that said, if you don't like mild winters, then obviously this isn't going to be your jam. There won't be any snowy activities, no sledding, no building snowmen. A white Christmas will not be a thing down here. One Christmas, our family actually spent the day swimming in the Gulf of Mexico, and to us, that was absolutely magical.
But the biggest complaint we hear is mainly about the humidity. For some, it's just horribly uncomfortable or it makes it too hard to breathe. So that's definitely on top of the list on why moving here can possibly suck for you.
All right, y'all, coming in at number 4 on our list is that Gulf Shores as a whole can kind of be a boring city. There's not really a huge downtown area. There's not a big nightlife scene. There's not a ton of things to do unless you're doing the touristy things like going to the beach, boating, jet skiing, paddleboarding, or going to like amusement parks. And if you aren't interested in outdoor activities, there won't be much for you to do. We do have some great parks to hike at, but that's not for everyone.
And it's very flat hiking. It's not like you're in Hawaii. But the one thing that really bums me out is that there aren't big museums. They do have a few, and they also have the military forts, but it's just not the same as going to like a Van Gogh exhibit, you know? There's also no bowling alley, which would kill me. I try to bowl with the family once a week, especially on those days when we know it's gonna rain. That's our favorite thing to do to beat the rain. There is a bowling alley in Gulf Shores.
No, there's one in Foley. There's not one in Gulf Shores. I Google it.
Like the same thing.
And since Gulf Shores is a smaller community, they do not have public transportation, nor does it have like a beachside boardwalk like other coastal towns. You'll need to order an Uber or a Lyft, though cars may not run frequently. In fact, we've had that problem. We had a really hard time finding ride shares down there. Once we waited for over an hour for one to even be available, I legit thought we were gonna have to hitchhike home. It was scary.
Yeah, trust us, there will be times when they aren't available. It's just not as reliable as other cities, so make sure you plan ahead.
Another big complaint that we get is that Gulf Shores as a whole is not really a walkable city. There have been improvements, mainly by the beach, that have made it more walkable, but it's not the entire city.
Right, so if your kids make friends at school, but they are on the other side of Gulf Shores, then it might suck because you'll have to drive across the town for play dates, and sometimes it's really heavy traffic.
Yeah, this isn't an area where they can just like ride their bikes from one side of town to another, not at all.
But if they do, I promise they'll be in great shape.
That's true. Let's just say you're gonna have to use that car and you're gonna have to spend some time in it, which also means gas. Let's hope these gas prices continue to go back down. What was gas prices today, Tony?
Like $3.89 here.
Okay, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Still awful, but you know, it is what it is. So, okay, like I said, you're gonna have to deal with some traffic because this is a tourist destination, especially during those peak months.
And the third thing on the list is something that some people absolutely and will not tolerate, and that's the bugs, the reptiles, your fish and wildlife. I see people freak out all the time when they see a spider or a cockroach. We are in a humid climate. There's a lot of different species down here, and that people aren't just used to. Growing up in Chicago, I associated cockroaches with living in not so clean areas, but here they're common like ants or flies.
I'm still super grossed out when I see a roach.
Gross!
I didn't tell you this. I just saw a tiny one in my house for the first time ever, and it was dead, but I'm not kidding. My soul left my body.
That can be a soul.
I think everyone hates those type of insects, but what I hear my neighbors complain about most are the snakes. We have poisonous snakes here, and we see them often, along with alligators. Now, they don't bother you, but you can cross paths, so you want to be cautious, especially if you live near a pond. You could run into some gators, water moccasins, you know, a lot of different little creatures you're not used to. So I would suggest being aware of your surroundings. Rule of thumb here in Lower Alabama, if there's tall grass or body of water, expect there to be snakes, gators, or both.
Yeah, and if you're used to hiking or walking in the forest or the woods, be careful because we have all types of snakes, and yes, we have some in our area that are venomous. They can cause significant damage to you if you step on it by accident.
Meredith, what are you doing?
But all of this makes for some awesome wildlife to see up close. I love going to the beach and cooling off in the water, but if you're in the Gulf, don't be surprised if you see some bull shark, jellyfish, or stingrays. In fact, right now our Gulf is full of jellies. And when we experience a lot of rainfall, we tend to see more along the shoreline.
And let me tell you, those suckers hurt if they sting you. But like anything, if you leave them alone, they're gonna leave you alone. Most interactions with wildlife are totally by accident. Sharks, jellyfish, snakes, stingrays, they don't want anything to do with us. And in fact, more people die from vending machines than they do from an alligator or a shark. So just be careful when you're around them. They're gonna keep their distance from you as long as you keep your distance from them.
Okay, the next item on the list that really bothers some people that live here in our area, and it kind of bothers me too, is that Gulf Shores as a whole has a much lower income than other parts of the country. Just to provide some context for you, we just helped a couple move down here from the Midwest. One of them was a teacher up north getting paid 6 figures, and he was looking for a job down here. They were offering half of that, even with his years of experience and his multiple degrees. So just be ready, and same thing is true for other careers like policemen, firefighters, nurses. Down here, those salaries are significantly lower, and it's just tough because you're wanting to move to a coastal city, but you might have to take a major pay cut. But on the bright side, the cost of living here is lower, and that could help balance things out.
Right? A lot of other expenses will go down, so while you're making less money, you're also going to be spending a lot less as well, especially if you're used to spending a small fortune on property taxes like we used to. So don't get too frustrated if you're used to being paid $80,000 a year and down here you're only getting offered $60,000. It's okay, everything is relative. You can still move here and live comfortably.
And fifth on the list is Gulf Shores is a tourist town. So living in a tourist town can sort of suck. When it comes to tourism, we're inviting thousands and in some cases millions of foreigners into our small town for a vacation. This can lead to immense environmental damage, especially in destinations that are extremely popular and tourist heavy. Perfect example right now is when sea turtles are hatching. This is a huge issue. Tourists are notorious for disturbing sea turtle nests on the beach. This actually violates federal law. There are yellow signs warning people about this, and they often go ignored, and it's really sad. You cannot touch, dig, or rummage through a protected nest. Lights disturb nesting turtles and hatchlings, which causes them to become disoriented, and they might make their way into the ocean and die, or they can get lost. And if you do disturb a nest, you can get jail time or you can get a really big fine. So follow the rules. Sea turtles and their nests are protected by the Endangered Species Act.
Unfortunately, this happens, and it's not all tourists, but definitely more than I like to admit. And sometimes it's some of the locals who keep lights on and the turtles make their way towards the lights. So it just depends. And another thing is public intoxication and littering is a reoccurring theme from vacationers. They need to remember this is a beautiful city and people live here permanently, and you should always be respectful of that. This isn't just Chuck E. Cheese where you can go do whatever you want. This is our beautiful Gulf Shores.
All right, y'all, those are 5 things in our opinion that aren't so great about Gulf Shores. End of the day, pros outweigh the cons. Watch any of our other videos on Gulf Shores and learn more about this amazing coastal city and kind of figure out if it's the right place for you to live. And if it is, then call us today so we can help you find your next home.
That's right, y'all. We're your local realtors here in Lower Alabama, and it's our job to keep it real and to help you find that perfect place to call home.
So thank you so much for watching this video. We appreciate you all so much. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel, and we hope to hear from y'all soon.
See ya.